What's up guys, this is Darkbblue, a gamer who loves Souls-like games, looter games, and every game that involves build making. With the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC of Elden Ring not far in sight, it's time for us to return to the Lands Between. It's been 2 years after launch, and this time is enough for me to reach a fairer opinion over Elden Ring than I had before. So let's see in this video my review of Elden Ring 2 years after launch. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's dive right into it. FromSoft never makes perfect games. Their games always focus on some certain aspects while intentionally paying less attention to others, which is a way to make games more intense and concentrated. Sekiro is just a good example. You have to admit it doesn't allow you to switch weapons and skills conveniently nor provide a large map, but in the meantime, the enemies enjoy very delicate designs of their animation and AI behaviors. Apparently, when playing such games, whether the player's perceived focus is consistent with the game's actual focus can greatly impact the experience. And the exact reason I didn't quite like Elden Ring at the first launch was the mismatch between my and the game's focus. Then why couldn't I, an experienced player of FromSoft games starting from Demon's Souls, get the craft focus of Elden Ring? Well, now I think the experience was exactly the reason. The Souls games, or perhaps including other games of FromSoft, have quite different cores inside while wearing pretty similar appearance. For example, you can see Dark Souls 1 focuses on exploration in an interconnected world, whilst Bloodborne is definitely a combat-centric game. At the same time, FromSoft tends to hide the very cores of each game deep within, waiting for the players to discover by themselves, making it a challenge only to understand the most enjoyable way to play their games. For example, to fully enjoy the combat in Bloodborne, you need to understand the mechanic of breakable body parts of giant enemies. But this mechanic is totally absent from any in-game tutorials. You have to observe, experiment, hypothesis, and validate like how one does research. Such designs make the true gameplay of some Souls games in fact exclusive to a small group of core players. The core design being hidden away has been a major issue of FromSoft games, but in more recent games, they finally have learned to make some, implicit guidance. One can naturally discover what they intend for you to discover, allowing the core gameplay to be more accessible to most players. Such guidance is enough for new players who are ready to accept anything they see. But for old FromSoft or Souls fans, it's too implicit to surpass their accumulated experience of what a Souls game should be about. And that's why I had been failing to accept Elden Ring for a long time. So what is the most enjoyable way to play Elden Ring which I have finally accepted? Well, it's gathering powerful gears including weapons, ashes of war and spells, composing stronger builds and using these builds to fight fiercer and fiercer foes. It's straightforward, right? I believe you already know it. But it was so unacceptable for me 2 years ago. My experience with previous Souls games has always been discovering and exploiting the inner mechanics of bosses, overcoming obstacles more with my intelligence than with better gears. So on one hand, I thought Elden Ring was too plain and naive with too limited enemy mechanics. On the other, I relied too much on buffs to finish the unsatisfying boss fights faster, which caused me to spend more time using the inconvenient buffs. Then how do I finally accept the intended gameplay of Elden Ring? It's thanks to Armored Core 6. Well, don't you think that gathering mech components is just like gathering gears? And composing mechs is just similar to composing builds. Therefore, if I can enjoy Armored Core 6 and call it a game with enough depth, so can I with Elden Ring. I realized that Elden Ring offers not only just a few strong gears, but more than a few dozens of them. And there are very few universal solutions, which means you need to choose or even design new builds for each given situation. That's a lot of fun of thinking. Furthermore, the enemy-player interaction in Elden Ring is not that bad as I thought once. So actually, practicing a build is also interesting. This also means I don't have to one-shot every boss with extreme buffs, as it's okay to have a rather slow fight. After 2 years, now I think I can truly accept the intended core gameplay of Elden Ring and enjoy my time in this game. I have started a new character. I was a strength-based warrior 2 years ago, and now I want to be an intelligent dex melee sorcerer. It's so enjoying to conduct the Hammer of Hammer and the Carrying Piercer knockdown combo. Now, I still have one more question to ask about the rationale behind Elden Ring. Why does FromSoft make this game's core design about gathering gears and making builds instead of their previous choice of intricate enemy mechanics? The answer is simple: to make the fun of Souls games no longer exclusive to a small group of core players. FromSoft's previous games hide the core game design too much, which results in a huge gap between ordinary and experienced players. I've already given the example of Bloodborne, so it's time for a Dark Souls 3 example. So I have made a new game walkthrough guide, and in this guide, I can easily overwhelm almost every boss by exploiting their intricate mechanics, leaving them no room for fighting back. But if you check the new game experience of an ordinary player, it'll be mainly about using sword and shield and trying to memorizing boss moves until the boss is outskilled. In fact, it's not only hard to research and discover such enemy mechanics in Dark Souls 3, spreading such knowledge is also a pain. So many times after a long explanation, the only response I get is, too complicated, didn't understand. I have to say, all the pride, the good feeling of self-confidence I can get from being an experienced Dark Souls 3 player, and from the gap between ordinary and experienced players, is addictive. But this huge gap is not good for a game's community or ecosystem. So that's why I think Elden Ring's design is better. It makes the core game design easily accessible to most players. Everyone can judge if a weapon is powerful no matter experience, and it's also easy to spread the information that you can get a powerful gear in a specific location. Everyone can enjoy the depths of Elden Ring, and it's good. With the DLC inside, I plan to make some videos about designing builds on your own. This can enable you to enjoy the new gears in DLC without having to wait for other players' intelligence. If you like my story or want to draw me into depth of games, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, see you around.